Museum in Sydney. I'm Adrian, and today I'm going to be building my very own digital watch with this kit that I just got off AliExpress. It's very inexpensive to get these little kits. You're building yourself at home. Lucky to have access to the ACMS soldering station. So let's see what's in the box. Everything nicely bubble wrapped, and then got one anti-static bag. The instructions I can see are in Chinese. I'm hoping there's an English version, but something like this probably doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, let's get it open. Look at this. Okay, number one is, of course, the PCB. I'm just going to pop this in the holder here. It's the best way around, I think this way will be most accessible. All right, we've got a little acrylic case here. Great. Didn't do that up very well. Have to put it in a bit more. That feels better. All right, we've got our acrylic case. Instructions. And yes, there is an English version on the other side, so that's going to make things a bit easier for me. Got this nice little silicone watch band here. It's pretty cool. Some of the little components there, the LED display and also the microchip, which I guess drives most of it. Got a button battery and a whole bunch of little bits and pieces in this baggie here. All right. Okay, let's get into it. So number one, start up soldering iron. Okay, the soldering station heats up pretty quickly, so that's nice. There we go. All right. So I think I'll start by just sorting out these little parts. There's not a whole lot, so I shouldn't need to do a lot of analysis on them. We've got a couple of little tack switches here. I'm guessing this little can is the clock crystal thing. Sorry, I can't really. There we go. Okay, a couple of little ceramic capacitors. Looks like two sizes, I think two different ratings, yep, 104 and 22. Alright, and a nice little, okay, oh, we got a viewer there saying hi. Hi. Hope you guys can see clearly here. I might try to move the camera a bit closer. Not sure if I can zoom it. Seems like a good position there. All right, so number one is the resistor. They don't have to specify which because there's only one resistor, so that's nice. And let's give it a go. Okay, pop R1 in, then those little legs out. And then bring it up. Down. Okay. A nice bit of solder here. Make sure this is hot enough. Yep. All right. one. First solder joint. Yep, nice. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Snip off the little legs. Right, part 2. Install crystal oscillator without distinguishing direction. Okay, that's great. So, I think we can distinguish direction on this. Y1. Right, push it down just to be as flat as possible because this is obviously going to have to go on my arm, so I don't want things sticking up. Okay. Move this line door. Really? If I move that, how's that? Yeah, I think we've got a fairly good view there. Okay. Try and untangle this. There we go. Okay, clock crystal. And, okay, second one. Yep, great. Don't have to snip these completely flush because it's going to be in a case, so I'm not going to have the solder joints rubbing on my arm. Install the welding microcontroller. Ah, okay. So that basically means solder the chip in. Okay, make sure we get it lined up. No socket here, which I guess with the size of it is understandable. Just means I've got to be careful to do it properly. Okay, yep. Right. Okay, if anyone wants to give me any soldering tips, you're welcome to. Don't know how much help they'll be. I'm a very slow learner. Alright, but I do know usual thing that you do with chips is make sure you get nice good solder on a couple of the diagonal pins. It's taking a bit longer than I'd like. Let's make sure I've got the right solder here. And put the temperature up a bit on this. There we go. Okay. Let's go to this pin. Yep, very nice. Okay, next one. As I said, I'm trying to just do some diagonally opposite ones there. Make sure nothing else moves around while I'm soldering. You don't want to kind of go along because it could gradually start to sag down. So you're best off to get the corners first and then do the middle ones. Okay. Oh, not enough on that. That's better. No. Excellent. Yeah, so for anyone who's watching, if you're not familiar with the Australian Computer Museum, we are located in Sydney, Australia, in the suburb of Croydon, which is around the inner western part of Sydney, so near Ashfield if you know where that is. And, we're an all-volunteer organisation. We're funded by donations. Don't get any government funding. Wouldn't mind a bit though. And yeah, we're dedicated to preserving Australia's computer history. So that's not just machines built here, but anything that has been used here. A lot of people's collections, private collectors will donate things to us for display. If you've got anything interesting and you live in Sydney, then yeah, we'll certainly be happy to take a look at it for our collection. Yeah, so we have a huge range of computers here going back, really back to I think the 1950s. We've got an IBM 407 just came in, which is this massive unit. It's big as a dining table and weighs as much as a small car, I think. A lot of digital equipment, if you know that name. A lot of Apple, IBM. And I've personally spent a lot of time working on the game area, so trying to get as many game consoles and things up and running as we can, because I think games are always a good gateway into computers for people. Certainly was for me. Okay. Let's have a close look at these. Yeah, we have days that we're open for people to visit either Wednesday or Saturday. So if you check out our website, you can find details about how to come in and have a tour. Got a lot of very dedicated members who are happy to show you around. I think we've done okay with that. Put that back. Yep. I might have actually put too much solder on some of these joints, but nice thing with these big chunky dip chips is that they tend to be fairly robust, so not too worried about overcooking it. Right, next is the tack switches. Oh, we have to change our grip here. See if I can get that nice and tight, so it's just going to slip out. Yeah, I want to get it in enough that it holds it, but out enough that I can get that switch in. No. Alright, let's try again. Turn it around for this. Bring it back. We need to get to that corner. Okay. So I'm assuming these little switches are just going to be to set the time or things like that. Being LED, I guess it's going to be off most of the time. It'll be in like a sleep type thing, and then you'll need to press a button to wake it up. I'm just going to go grab a bit of tape to hold those switches while I turn it. These teeny little switches are liable to fall out as soon as I turn it over, so I'm just going it. Alright, let's get number 2. Yeah, one of the great things about the museum is the workshop here. You have access to a lot of tools. Members can come in and work on their own stuff if they want to. So it's nice. So, for example, here I am making my very own watch. So I finally know what time it is. Got a lot of collectors that come in here, you know, to work on stuff. And you've got access to a lot of people that can help you with things, which is always good. I'm definitely not an expert on most of these old machines, but I've just been able to learn a lot by hanging out and talking to the people who are experts here. Yep. It's always so satisfying, you know, when you've got your little blob of solder and then it just does that like gets a bit some shiny and matte. It's solidified. Yeah, I hope you guys are seeing okay there. If not, let me know in the comments. I'll see if I can move the camera. Alright, got our 2 tack switches. Tape off. And now we're going to get the capacitors in, which means turning the PCB around again. Try to get that as close to that switch as possible without crushing it. Yep. Great. Okay. Install a 104P ceramic in position C3 and the 22 is in position C1 and C2. Okay, that must have given me a spare 104 then. So let's see a 4th one. Okay. So again, big one is going in C3. Oh, they've even written on the circuit board actually 104, C3, and C2 and C1, 22. Okay. Yeah, so it's certainly not difficult to build this kit. I'll put a link in the description if anyone wants to get one. And if you want to come in here and build it, like I said, just drop in on a Saturday or a Wednesday. I can get you signed up. And you have access to all this great stuff. So yeah, as I was saying, we're all volunteers here. I come in once a week on a Wednesday. That was traditionally my day off work, although I've got a lot of days off work because I'm not in full-time employment right now. I was made redundant a few months ago. And yeah, it's been an interesting journey. You know, trying to do the whole job application thing in the age of AI. It's just, yeah, there's this pervasive feeling that like everyone's using GPT to write their applications, and then everyone's using another instance of GPT to screen the application. So it's like, you know, why do the people need to be involved at all? Okay. So yeah, if anyone out there is hiring someone who can do basic electronics assembly, or, you know, if you want to hire like a UI and graphic designer with over 20 years experience, I can also do that. Doesn't look as good on camera though, does it? Maybe it would, you know, could do a live stream of just me opening up Photoshop and drawing buttons. Might like that. Okay, now install a digital tube. Right, digital tube, according to the illustration, is just the LED display. Okay, decimal point is at the bottom. Well, that's good to know. Although in this case the bottom is the top, so make sure we get, basically decimal point goes towards the battery, and they've even drawn the decimal points on the circuit board. So again, it's a really nice little kit, you know. It's actually quite thoughtful, especially for the price. I think it was probably less than 10 Aussie dollars. Might have been a bit more with delivery, can't remember off the top of my head, but very, very, very cheap. Kind of been thinking it might be nice to do a sort of a workshop day where we get just a whole bunch of these kits, you know, and walk people through building and do some solder training. We've got some, I mean, I think I'm fairly good at teaching, but not so great at soldering. So, but we do have some people who are proper electrical engineers, you know, and they're really good at this stuff. So yeah, again, like, let us know in the comments if you'd like to do something like that, you know, if you sort of think it would be cool to come in and do a build day where we all build one of these, you know, and we all go home with a watch. I think that'd be pretty cool. You can see what's it been now, only 20 minutes really, and I'm already more than halfway through making it, so yeah, what I like about something like a watch is that then, you know, you can wear it around. I mean, it's not going to be the most practical thing, is it? But it's a watch. I mean, as long as it tells the time, I think that is practical. You know, I don't really want a smartwatch. I get too nervous when things beep and get notifications and stuff, you know. It breaks my concentration. So I think I'll be happier just having a digital watch that just tells the time and nothing else. And you know, then I can show it off. People say, "What's that? Where'd you get it?" And then I can say, "Oh, go on YouTube. You can watch me making it." And I'm not a professional YouTuber. Another one of the things that we do here as volunteers is we do all our own media. So I hope I'm at least speaking clearly for you guys. All right, let's chop these little pins off. Okay. Just gotta put my hand over that. That one came up and got me. And again, I've heard of this trend where you've got to like chop your soldered joints absolutely flush, and you know, but it's going to be inside that acrylic case. Like, it's not going to matter if the legs poke out a bit. I won't have it sitting on my arm like that. Okay, weld the battery holder. Okay. Only when the opening direction is outward can the battery be inserted. Okay, so let's have a look at the picture. Essentially, these little feet need to be pointing towards the LED display. So you can see just there. Getting focus. Yeah, there's these little tooth looking things. Got to make sure those are pointing upwards. I guess so that the battery can kind of slip in there and then they'll hold it in. If you put them the other way, the battery's just going to foul on them as it goes in. Alright, get that in nice and snug. Yep. It's always nice when the component has enough tension that it doesn't fall straight out when you do this. Yep. Yeah, so again, something that I'm really proud of here is our game collection. We didn't have a huge game sort of focus when I first started coming here, and then not long afterwards we actually remember Leave, who did have a big game collection that was most of the games on site here, and we took them with him. So we tried to rebuild that, and I think, yeah, we've actually we've got a really nice little area there now. We're trying to build it up into our own private arcade. Install the battery. Oh, is that it? Wow, look at that. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, guys? Okay, let's see how we go. All right. Okay. Now, install it with the plus hole above. Okay. Who's ready? And pop. And there we go. Look at that. We have a clock. Okay, I'm not sure what pressing the buttons does. I guess it'll tell me. Press button, press and hold to adjust the minutes. Press and hold without releasing to adjust the hour. Oh, okay. All right, what time is it? It is, according to the iPhone, it is 10:46. So let's go. All right. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gotta hold this down for another, what, 30 seconds? 25. I'm actually seeing this mirrored, so I'm just going to turn around so I can see it properly. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. Okay, and it is 10:47. So 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's it. There we go. So next up is put it into the case. Okay. Now we have this. Install the circuit board into the upper casing. Tilt a bit and install the switch direction first. Okay, that makes sense. So we've got some little tack switches sticking out that I was pressing to set the time. And I'll pop that in there. Look at that, easy as that. Quite nice, isn't it? Install the bottom shell. Alright, secure with 4 screws. And they're actually nice enough to give me a teeny tiny screwdriver. So I'm having that. That's getting added to my teeny tiny screwdriver collection. What's really good is teeny tiny flatheads, because then I can adjust my glasses. But teeny tiny Phillips is still useful. There's that many teeny tiny screws in your life, isn't there? Turn this off. Last thing I do is leave the soldering iron on. Okay, that's off, and then we can just switch that whole thing off, which is going to reduce the noise level. Okay, and get those screws in there. Okay, quick sanity check. Yes, it works. Now install the watch strap. Which way do I put the watch strap? It's actually been a long time since I've worn a wristwatch. Isn't that funny? Okay, so basically I'm just pushing it. Oh, okay, oh, wow. There's like a tiny little thingy here that you can pull in to get that thing to go in. I think I'm probably just going to be able to wrench it in. I'm pretty sure that the clasp goes on the top side of the watch. If I'm wrong, then yeah, tell me. Oh, okay, I won't be able to just push it in. It's funny, I remember, like, you know, used to always wear a watch, and then I guess I just got out of the habit when I started using my phone to tell the time. Never really felt like getting a smartwatch. I think having a funky homemade watch is kind of cool. I think I've, no, that's right. Okay. Thought I'd done that backwards. All right, put this one in. Excellent, and now let's put it on. There we go. All right, so there's no tilt sensor. I do have to just press the button for it to switch on. It's not going to switch on automatically, but you know, yeah, I think that looks really nice actually. Okay, so there you go. Build your own watch in just half an hour. Thank you for watching with the Australian Computer Museum Society, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you, bye. All right.